Okay, y'all. Well, this message is for people who keep leaving me messages about my videos about Farrakhan, Minister Farrakhan. See, I don't like the man, but I will still give him some respect and call him Minister Farrakhan. Okay? And you leave me these comments talking about I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to the minister and blah blah blah, and you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're saying. He's chosen. He's what y'all call him? I forgot what y'all called him when y'all sent me the bullshit that y'all sent me in the in my comment section. But let me tell you this. I know a lot about the Nation of Islam. I know a lot about Minister Farrakhan. I know a lot about Elijah Muhammad. I know a lot about the different factions of the so-called Nation of Islam. Okay? So before you come here, know that I know what I'm talking about when I tell you what I tell you. Okay? Y'all complaining that I said that Minister Farrakhan had all these baby mamas. And it's true. He's not married to anybody but Khadijah. That is his only legal wife. And in the Nation of Islam, you cannot have more than one wife. Okay, so yes, I said that he had baby mamas, and he should not be looked upon as someone to be a role model, because he is not living by the dictates of the religion that is Islam under the Nation of Islam. Now, Islam in the East, Orthodox Islam, that's one thing. If he's going to call himself an Orthodox Muslim, they allow polygamy. The Nation of Islam does not. So when you bring that lifestyle over to a people they're not accustomed to it, they don't know the rules and regulations of doing so. As if we're really talking about doing it properly, according to both books, either you talk about the how it's supposed to be in the Quran. It is only in a time of war that men are allowed to take on more than one wives, and there are very strict guidelines associated with it. It's not just you gonna shack up with somebody and then go to LaQuisha's house, have sex with her, and now she is your second wife because you want to have more than one coochie to cooch up with at night. That's not how it works. Okay, so there's a emotional, financial, economical, that all of those aspects of polygamy have to be met before you can say that you are doing it right, if there is such a thing. Okay, you know that we're not at war, so you don't need to preserve the race, if you will, or protect the women. Y'all ain't doing that anyway, so let's get off of that. Y'all ain't protecting the sisters. So let's get away from that. Because it's just a damn lie. All you're doing is making up damn lies to get into women's panties. That's all you're doing. Because most of the time, those sisters still got to go out and work and take care of their own kids, or you force them on government assistance, and you all live off of that government assistance. Talking about you all are polygamous, but you have another man taking care of your kids and your women. Okay, so let me get back to what I meant by, in the Nation of Islam, polygamy is not allowed. Now, a lot of the new generation of Muslims or even black people don't realize that this was not allowed when Elijah Muhammad was in the Nation of Islam. Okay, so if you can go back to even older newspapers of when it was called Muhammad Speaks, when it was called Muhammad Speaks, Elijah Muhammad spoke out several times against polygamy. And when he was accused of, sleeping with his underage secretaries, he denied that, first of all. He denied it. He taught the Nation of Islam that there is only one woman for one man. He denied, he said that actually Malcolm had made up that story to get back at him. And those two of those women that Malcolm had said was his wives were Malcolm's sweetheart. This was all public knowledge back in the 70s. All public knowledge. So what you call the first resurrection of Muslims, they all know this story. Okay? It is only the younger generation that doesn't know this story and are getting roped into this polygamy nonsense. Okay, so that there was a public beef with Malcolm. We all know the end result of that between Malcolm and the Nation of Islam. Okay? So in the Muhammad Speaks newspaper, a bunch of the ministers, including Minister Farrakhan, came out and defended Elijah Muhammad against those charges of him sleeping with those underage women. Because Elijah Muhammad said that you all know me. You all know that I don't teach this. You all know my character. So the ministers then, in one of the editions of the Muhammad Speaks newspaper, came out and defended him against those charges, including Minister Farrakhan. Okay? Fast forward after Warithuddin Muhammad took over the Nation of Islam after Elijah Muhammad's death, brought polygamy in because he bought in Orthodox Islam. Farrakhan, so-called, was under him for 3 years and learned those ways. Then he broke from Wallace, okay, and started saying that he was going to resurrect the Nation of Islam as Elijah Muhammad had it. When he did that, he brought with him in the lies about the secretaries and the wives, the same secretaries that Elijah Muhammad denied, and they defended him against those lies in the 70s, are the same women. 2 of them are the same women that Farrakhan is bringing up on stage talking about Malcolm and Elijah Muhammad 40 years later. I don't know when. I think it was 30 years later when I saw the tape, but it's probably like 40 years later now. What really happened? So so now he's saying Elijah Muhammad did have these wives in order to justify his own filth with other women. Okay? And justify the people around him, their own filth, with other women talking about they have wives. So the believers, their money is going to support Farrakhan and his mistresses and his kids and their kids and all those kids he had out of wedlock. This is where religions can really mess you all up if you do not understand what you're dealing with. Okay? Because it's either Farrakhan was lying back then when he was defending Elijah Muhammad, from what, with all the COINTELPRO, J. Edgar Hoover, and all the plant and all the stuff that they were doing back then? Or he was lying now today when he said, oh, actually he did have these women. Either way, the man is a liar. Okay? And I can remember reading one thing that Elijah Muhammad said. He said that if you catch me in one lie, then it is all a lie. Everything that I've ever taught you is a lie. Everything is if you catch me in one lie. So this is something serious that you all who are coming here to defend Minister Farrakhan and the foolery that is now has become the Nation of Islam and its many different little factions with different leaders who are mentally unstable is the best way I can put it. Who only care about two things, and it's always the two things, no matter if you're talking about the church or the mosque or wherever. It's always the women and the money. So, I'm not going to say I don't care about the brothers, but y'all going to do what y'all going to do. But for women who are in the Nation of Islam, y'all need to be careful. Because they are starting to push this polygamy bullshit more and more and more. And that is not what the Nation of Islam under Elijah Muhammad, that is not what they taught. That is Orthodox Islam. Okay, Elijah Muhammad said the black man was not ready for something like that. And he called it filth. These are things that people, like I said, in the first, what they call the first resurrection, this is what they know because this is what was fed to them day in day. After the messenger Elijah Muhammad, that's what they call him. After Elijah Muhammad, after he died, then this new wave of Islam, first under Wallace and then under Minister Farrakhan, comes with the bullshit. So if you think you're getting Islam as taught by Elijah Muhammad, you are not. You are getting Farrakhan Islam. And if you're all right with that, then be all right with that. But know that there are two different Islam. Elijah Muhammad did not teach polygamy. He said it was filth. He said it wasn't for the black man. The black man was not ready for that. Okay? Farrakhan, enter Warthi Muhammad. Those two, well, at least Wallace denounced his dad and just embraced Orthodox Islam and all of that stuff that goes with it. But Farrakhan trying to mix the two. Now, if you're for one, you're for one. If you're for the other, you're for the other. But you can't mix the two because then you're confusing both people. You all be careful what you're doing under Farrakhan. That's all I have to tell you. Just be careful. And for women who are listening to me, who are in the Nation of Islam, no, Elijah Muhammad did not teach polygamy. He said it was filth and foolishness. Okay? Now I have no, I don't know any of the, I study, I've been involved, I've seen. And I know that then there are other different factions of the NOI that you all need to be careful of. Not just Farrakhan. There are others. I cannot. One day I will do a video on all the different fractions of the Nation of Islam. They're all dangerous to me. They're all equally dangerous to the black women. You all need to stay away from them because they're a bunch of crazy black men who don't know what the hell they're doing and don't care. They're using you as an experiment. So you need to stay away from them. Okay? And if you choose to stay in the Nation of Islam, keep your eyes wide open. Because you think you are safe. Okay, that's what makes you feel like you're coming into this fold. You don't have to worry about the crap that you're dealing with on the outside. You don't have to worry about the cheating husbands. You don't have to worry about men not treating you right. You don't have to worry about brothers not loving you for your natural hair. Matter of fact, the black woman in there is encouraged to grow out her natural hair. Okay. It's not mandated because, a lot of sisters still wear their perms and all that. But she is encouraged to grow out her natural hair. But I will tell you, you will know that a bunch of black women are still facing the same problems that they would with any other black man and their natural black hair and their dark skin. Because there's still hatred against the natural black self and the natural, and there's colorism inside. So you are dealing with the same bullshit inside that you would outside. And you will find that out when you get there. And don't believe all this washing machine bullshit. Oh, every time you call somebody on their filth, oh, it's in we all washing machine. We're in the washing machine where we're trying to wash away our filth and all that. Nobody's perfect. Beware of that and take care of your own self. You do not have protection. It is false protection. It is a false sense of security, and one day you will find that out if you have not already. Okay? So what a lot of these black men in the Nation of Islam are doing is that they don't want to and don't get me wrong, I've met some very nice brothers in the nation, and it's the same thing. It's the same thing as in the outside. There are some nice black men who do what they're supposed to do by their women and do what they're supposed to do by their family, and it's the same thing in the Nation of Islam, but it's a small percentage. It's that same small percentage. So y'all think you're going into the Nation of Islam to find something better, and you're going to find that it's just a smaller version of what's on the outside. Because you'll see those same good brothers who are doing what they're always going to do what they're supposed to do because they're good men. But the majority are on some bullshit. Okay? And some of these men, they know that they're not supposed to be what we call fornicating, or cheating on their wives. But you'll have brothers going out and cheating on their wives with what they call lost found sisters, or they're not supposed to have girlfriends. And a lot of the black women who are not in the Nation of Islam don't know that these brothers are not supposed to be they're supposed to know where they're supposed to marry a woman that they're seeing platonically within 6 months to a year. There's no long-term dating. You can't be sleeping with this sister and using her around and having babies with her out of wedlock. And there's a lot of that bullshit going on right now in the name of the Nation of Islam. And a lot of black women don't know that. They're not supposed to be doing that. So like I said, Black America, Black Islam, we're not going to get better until we stop the damn foolishness. We stop the deceit, the lying, the self-hatred. And you all are not going to, every time I talk about Farrakhan, I drop a couple of people. But so here I'm just pouring the whiskey on the ground right now for the loss of subscribers. Bye-bye. Okay? I'm not here for that. I'm here to tell you the truth as black women. Okay? So if you get mad at me and drop off because you don't like what I'm saying, there's nothing I can do about that. I can tell you the truth, though, that these people are not here for you and your best interest. I'm telling you that right now. If you are lucky enough to find a decent one, whether inside the Nation of Islam or outside the Nation of Islam, then you are lucky enough to find a good person that's going to be with you and take care of you and love and respect you and do what they're supposed to do as a decent human being. But I can tell you some horror stories of women that I know that were in the Nation of Islam and the bullshit that they had to go through. Okay? You don't want to hear those horror stories. So again, the original Nation of Islam under Elijah Muhammad did not condone polygamy. According to Elijah Muhammad himself, the lies about the secretary were a lie. It was because according to him, for when I read, it was Malcolm who concocted those lies. And then when you add in J. Edgar Hoover and the COINTELPRO program, and you know how they used to do black people back then, and they still do it now, but it's more covert. And according to Minister Farrakhan back then, Elijah Muhammad did not condone polygamy. All of a sudden, the man dead can't defend himself no more, and now all these lies coming out about him, about what he supposedly taught, to get two things: the women and the money. What he need with 7, 8 wives? Tell me what the man need with 7, 8 wives. You saying that there's not enough good black men? Isn't that what the Nation of Islam is in business to do? To produce those good black men so the women can have good black men? So you telling me you couldn't find 7, 8 other good black men to marry those women legally? You had to have Khadijah plus all these other women because of what? And we have a lot of black women in here falling for this polygamy nonsense. It is not for you. Okay. So, yeah, I know y'all upset because I know Farrakhan is Minister Farrakhan is an emotional topic for a lot of people. But a lie is a lie. Like I said, it was either lying when he defended Elijah Muhammad back when all these rumors first came out, or he's lying today. And that's why a lot of people in what you call the first resurrection, they don't mess with him. Because they lived through the history. And they know what happened. The only people who are so-called messing with him are screwed up people themselves who are either kicked out of the Nation of Islam or on probation or something, or they were in bad standings or what have you. Or they're working with the government. So you have to understand what's going on. Leave these people alone. Leave these religions alone. These Nation of Islam, these fringe religions, leave them alone. Okay? Because once they're done with you, you're going to have to sit there, you're going to have to pick up the pieces from what they have destroyed out of your life. Okay? Leave these men alone. If you are lucky enough to find a good man in there, who's going to take care of you and all that. That I'm telling you, that's just sheer luck. Because most of the women that go in there either don't find a man because the brothers are out there running after what they call lost found women anyway. They don't want to, stick by the no sex before marriage. They want to dip in and do what they want to do. So they're out there looking for other women anyway. And then you have all kinds of men with all kinds of problems who are not getting the help that they need, talking about they're going to be married, and then they end up doing all kinds of crazy stuff to their wives and their children. All I got to say to you is just beware. That's all I can tell you. Okay?